Hello, all you beautiful people. This is Intentional Healing, and I am Nicole Bridger. It is such an honor to be with you right now. This is my first show, and I'm really excited about it. So I thought the nice thing to do would be to take some time to introduce myself. I know for myself, it's nice to get to know somebody a little bit before spending considerable time together. So before we begin, I encourage you to just take a deep breath and allow yourself to just be here. All the busy things of your day will still be there when we're done. But for now, just be here. So I was born in Vancouver, Canada, to an incredibly loving family. My parents gave my sister and I so much love, support, encouragement, good schools. And really, I learned that the key to life was to work hard, be a good person, get married, have kids, and be happy. And that didn't really work out. So when I was young, I was a really good student. I was a valedictorian and played sports and was interested in sewing, though both my parents were in science. My dad a dentist, my mom a nurse. And then when I was 16, I found my first love. He and I were together for 4 years. And his father's a famous shoe designer. And that was the first time it dawned on me that I could do something that I love creatively and potentially make a good career out of it. So I decided then and there I would go to university for fashion design, and I did. In third year, I was chosen to intern. I went to England on exchange, and while I was there, I interned with Vivienne Westwood, who's quite a creative in the industry. She really showed me that I could still be who I am in the industry. Since I was young, I have always been so grateful for the life that I was given, and I've always wanted to give back, to have some kind of positive impact on this planet while I'm here. But I also saw that the fashion industry was really shallow, and I wasn't sure if I could hack it. And she showed me that I could be whoever I was and use the industry as a kind of platform for the voice that I wanted to have. So from there, I moved back to Vancouver, and I started an eco-clothing company for the man who started Lululemon, which was at that point gaining quite a bit of success. It's a yoga wear company. And I said to him, okay, I will start this company for you. But I really ultimately want to just be here a year. I want to start my own company. So I want to have my hands in accounting and production and sourcing. And I did. And when I was done learning there, I remember being so scared to tell my mother that I was done. She thought, oh my gosh, you actually have a good paying job in this industry. Don't quit. But I was depressed. My soul was calling for something else. So at that point, I started my own ethical, sustainable clothing company out of Vancouver called Nicole Bridger, and worked my butt off I also met my husband while I was working, and 6 years of a very exhausting, toxic relationship with him. I thought maybe getting married would fix it. And I knew on our wedding day, I remember thinking everything is perfect except the person that I'm marrying. And yet I still went through with it. I remember trying to break up with him probably a dozen times. But he has his own demons and begged me to stay, and I felt like I couldn't abandon him. So I stayed. So here I was now in this exhausting relationship, starting this new company, and I was leaving him for the final time, and I was pregnant. And it was the birth of my son that gave me the strength to finally leave a situation that I could not leave on my own. And it was killing me. So there I was, now a single mother, moved into my parents' home with my baby. I ran my business out of their basement. And I worked so hard. And I thought, if only I just push harder. There's nothing that I can't figure out, that I can't survive. I'm strong and I can handle it. So I had that company for 10 years. And I believe around year 8, I was facing a really big financial crunch. We owned a factory of 35 employees in Vancouver and outsourcing to ethical factories around the world. And I had to close the factory. It was just hemorrhaging money. And laying off all those people, it just crumbled me. My adrenals were exhausted. I had barely enough energy to get my kid to school every day. I gained a lot of weight on my physical body. I was depressed, hopeless, and felt no joy, though the people around me probably had no idea. And then I found lumps in my breast, and it was all of those things combined that I finally said, okay, clearly the way that I'm going about life is not the way, and I know that there is a better way. So essentially I surrendered, and I asked the universe to show me a better way. And that's when I met an intuitive doctor in Vancouver named Dr. Dibby. And I started to work with her. And she started to show me how the thoughts that I was having were forming beliefs. And the beliefs that I was carrying around with me all the time were creating the life that I had. And if I wasn't happy with that life, that I intentionally just had to change my thoughts, to start focusing on joy and appreciation. And that was so hard at first. But eventually with practice became easier and easier. And I started to see inside myself this energy that was behind all of the choices I was making. This kind of like proving myself energy, like, okay, if I achieve that, is that enough? Then am I worthy? Okay, we just have to push harder and do this. And then And then am I worthy? And really behind it all was just this yearning for love. Love and self-worth, you know, and proving it not only to the world, to my parents, but also ultimately to myself. So after working with her in time, I started to be able to tune in to my true self. And I asked myself, okay, if there's nothing to prove and I can just be, well, then what? You know, then what would I want to create? Then how would I show up in the world? And it released me from all of the things that I had already created. And I started to really journey inward and tap into what it was that I deeply desired. Dr. Divi at that point said, well, she was starting a course on teaching others how to be intuitive coaches. And myself, my whole life, I've had some very trippy intuitive experiences. I think I pushed them out, blocked them off for a long time. I believe we all are intuitive. But I'd had enough experiences where I'd received a message and it came true, or I saw something and it was validated, that I knew that there was something there, that I felt confident enough in moving forward in this path to being an intuitive coach. Though, let me tell you, when I first heard about it, there was no way I thought that I would be a coach. But as I started to practice and help others, I saw that ultimately this is exactly where I was supposed to be. So the mantra of my clothing company was, I am love. I had this deep knowing when I was younger that our true essence is love, and that perhaps the point of us having this human existence is to figure out how to come from that place of love in all that we do. So how that showed up in my business was to do what is right for the earth, people, and spirit. So we were sustainable, ethical, and we really encouraged people to love themselves as they are, to be kinder to those around them. And the clothing company was the perfect vehicle for that message until eventually it became too cumbersome. And now I can look back and see why. It's because I had so much more to say than clothing could handle. So many more people to be of service to than perhaps could come and purchase the clothing. So now I'm a certified intuitive coach, and it's like magic. Every day I get to help people actually tune into that place of divine love. And with really simple processes, learn how to intentionally shift their belief systems to the ones that are in line with the life that they desire. So now my son and I have moved to Bali, Indonesia, where he goes to an incredible school out here that teaches leaders of tomorrow. And I get to see one-to-one clients, group workshops, webinars, and now this show. So that brings us here to date. And if anything that I've been saying today resonates for you, inspires you, the following shows are going to be a mixture of teaching concepts, teaching simple processes. I will do recorded meditations, and basically just a way to help you in your own life start to come from this place of love. Thank you so much for being with me today. I really look forward to our next time that we're together. Take care.